Most of you know this already, but trading isn't hard. Patience is. Who agrees? Give me a number one in the chat if you agree. Is it the patience that you struggle with? It's not clicking the fucking button. We're not breaking our back.
Shouldn't you be working?
I got someone to cover for me.
It's staying off the charts. It's keeping that trigger finger happy away from the fucking mouse, isn't it? So trading isn't actually hard. It's patient. And you know your strategy works, but your psychology doesn't. So today I just want to speak about a couple things, bring a couple things front of mind to you, because a lot of people, they revenge trade, myself included. I'm only human, all right? I do it too. I just don't do it as much as I used to. And I think where people go wrong with the revenge trading trap is when you lose, you immediately want it back, don't you? Like instantly. And so it's almost like it's a personal attack from you, against you from the market. And what do you do? Let's be honest. What do we do, chat? Put it in the chat. Let's be honest. Let's be open. Let's talk. Right? We increase our fucking position size when we're down, don't we? Maybe you usually trade 2 contracts. You take a loss. You want to trade 4 contracts to get that back. You break your rules, right? You abandon your plan. Why? Because you're trying to recover quickly. Every loss to you becomes personal, emotional, and urgent.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Tell me, does this sound familiar? You take 2 losses in a row and then you double your position size. Right? Maybe you move your stop loss because, it'll come back. I'll get out at break even. Just give it a little bit more room. Right? That's why we always let our fucking losers run and cut our winners early. We sit in drawdown for so long, the second we see that go green, we're like, let's lock that in the bank. All right? But this also happens from forcing trades because there's nothing to actually trade. There's nothing to do. Knowing that 80% of the time we should just be patient. And you're watching the market, you're watching the charts, you're seeing the candles go up and down, and you just want to fucking do something. So you enter a trade even though you shouldn't, and then you check your P&L every 30 seconds. Does this sound familiar? Am I right or am I wrong? If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm open to opinions, all right? But this is just my opinion, and this is what I think most people need to hear so that I can help you. Because the truth is, although it's the emotions that cause the issue, the emotions aren't the problem. It's the lack of structure that is the problem. So how do we overcome the emotions? That's what we want to talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen, right? What are some things that we can do that remove the emotion from the game that we're playing? How do we put structure into our trading, into our life, so that we can lower those emotions that we feel? Right? Now, the first thing I want you all to do, and if you haven't done it, do it right now. Open up your brokerage, set a hard loss limit, which is 2 to 3% of your account with no exceptions. And when you hit that maximum loss limit, your broker will lock you out. The session is over. You're done. Okay, and so what this is doing, that's obviously the mechanism, but the result of this is protecting you from yourself, protecting you from revenge trading, because you can't revenge trade when you don't have the option to. All right, so how are we going to do that? I'm going to log into an account here. We're going to do it for the newbies that don't know how. I'm going to show you. Very simple, very quick, very easy. All right, you hit your loss limit and then went and turned it off and kept trading and lost more. Well, that's obviously defeats the purpose of having a loss limit. Right now, I do think the Tradeovate have a lockout so that you can't actually do that. It's something that was released 2 weeks ago, but if you're trading funded accounts from a month ago or beyond that, it won't be in your settings. Now, what we're going to do is show you how to do that. So if you guys can see, this is Tradeovate. Now, inside your brokerage, you're simply going to go into your accounts, all right? You're going to see under each of your accounts or whatever account you have, whether it's a live account, a demo account, a val account, whatever it might be, there's going to be risk settings here. You're going to click on those risk settings. You're going to work out what your daily loss limit is. Typically, that's going to be 2 trades, so it might be $500 risk per trade. $1,000 is your daily loss limit. You're going to go ahead and you're going to type in $1,000. You're going to save that. Now you have automatically set the maximum loss limit to 2 to 3% of your account, which removes the option for you to continue revenge trading. Right? And when you do this, you don't log into your broker and change it. Right? Why is it so hard to accept a $300 loss and shut down for the day? It feels like a step backwards. How do I change my psychology to be 300? Okay, I need to be patient, wait and start again tomorrow. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So Jordan, if your maximum loss limit is $300, you should be having really $150 per trade with a maximum of 2 trades per day. But this is something that you can all do that takes less than a couple of minutes to put through your broker. All right. And by doing that, you're forcing yourself to lock yourself out of your brokerage and stop revenge trading. Okay. The next thing I want you to do is reverse engineer your goal. Right, you've all got a calculator on your phone. I want you all to pull up your iPhone right now. Get your calculator out right now. Work out what your goal is. Maybe it's $5,000 a month. If you divide that by 20 trading days, that's $250 a day. Now you're trading USD, not AUD. So if that's your AUD target, you know you only need to make, around 150 USD to hit that daily target. Okay, but I want you all to pull out your phone right now, and I want you to figure out whatever your yearly salary is. All right, let's say, for example, your yearly salary is $100,000. All right, $100,000 yearly salary. You're going to go ahead and you're going to divide that by 2, because I think it's a pretty good start to supplement your income by 50%. Now, if you need to supplement your income by 50%, you're going to take whatever half of your yearly salary is. Okay, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to divide that by 252, because that's how many trading days there are in a year. Now I've got $198. So all I need to do, if I'm on 100K per year and I want to supplement my income by 50%, is make 198 AUD. When I convert that to USD, divided by 0.6, we're talking about literally 130 USD. No more. 130 USD. Now, how many of you are confident that you have the skills that you could make 130 USD from the market every day? Right, number 1 in the chat, if you think that you've got what it takes to make $100 or $150 from the market. You've all got the knowledge that you need to succeed. You all know that you can actually hit your goals, but you don't reverse engineer it, put pen to paper and figure out exactly what your targets are, what you should be hitting, and therefore you only deem it a successful trading day if you hit $1,000, a $2,000, or a $3,000 day. You only deem it successful if you hit a 1 to 4 risk to reward. You only think that you're a good trader if you hit, an 80% win rate, when in reality, you've got it all backwards. That's not what you're going to work for. You're given 8 to 10 hours of your time every day to the big man for $30 or $40 an hour. So you don't need to figure out how to make $1,000 or $2,000 a day. That's maybe the end goal. But right now, if you're a beginner and you're just trying to find consistency, I want you to figure out what your actual goal is. So start off by dividing your income by 2. Divide that by 252 trading days, and then divide that figure into USD. And most of you will figure out that you only need to actually make $100 or $200 a day to supplement your income 50%, 1 hour a day from home. Okay, so when you figure out that number, whatever it is, then I want you to double it. So if it's 150, double it to 300. Now, if you're trying to get consistent, I'm not talking to my advanced traders here, I'm talking to my beginners. If you're just trying to find consistency in the markets, I want you to focus on hitting 2x your daily target. So if you only need 150 USD to supplement your income by 50%, and then you make $300 on a trade, you take that $300, you close your laptop and you come back tomorrow. Because hitting that first base time and time again is going to give you more consistency, more confidence, and more skills, and avoid over trading, because suddenly you're not over trading anymore. You've got a clear finish line that prevents you from taking trades out of boredom or forcing setups. And realistically, that clarity, this is all I'm trying to do, is give you clarity, because the clarity removes pressure. Pressure creates mistakes. So how do we remove the pressure? We work out exactly what numbers we've got to be hitting. We double that, and then we do the same thing. We go over to our brokerage if you want to. I'm not saying you have to, but if you want to, you go to your risk settings, you put on your daily profit trigger, and you figure out whatever your number is, you save it. Now you don't even need to actually think about that or worry about your discipline closing that trade when you hit your daily profit target. You can let the brokerage do it for you. Right? And what you'll find is you actually find consistency. And this is great for funded accounts as well. If you guys are trading funded accounts, this is how you get paid out from funded accounts. Small, consistent results. This is how you supplement your income by 50%. Small, consistent results. Hitting first base and then doing it consistently. Right? Now, the next solution that I want to give you all track everything. Why is this so fucking important? What do you actually need to track? You might just think it's your chart. You might just think it's taking a screenshot. Well, I'm here to tell you that you want to track as much information as you possibly can so that you have all the information that you need to succeed. That's going to include the time of the day of the week, the asset and the time frame that you're trading on, the strategy that you're using for your entry or your exit. Why does this matter? Because you're going to find your edge. You're going to stop guessing. The data that you collect from doing this is what actually reveals the truth and gets you consistently profitable. I know no one wants to do it, but this is what you need to do if you want to get results from the financial markets, right? Because the reality is, if you're not journaling and you're not planning your trades, you're planning to fail. And I'm here telling you this. I'm not sugarcoating it. So if you want to be in the top 10% and you know 90% of people lose money and you've got the information that you need to succeed, you've got the support that you need, you've got the software that you need, you've got the market updates that you need, you've got the levels that you need, you've got everything you need, you just need to fix your psychology and track your data. And a lot of you, if you do those two things, you're going to have the biggest unlocks that push the majority of you the furthest forward. And that's why I'm focusing on this. Because a lot of the time, you don't realize this, but the 80-20 rule that you're missing is the hidden edge, where 80% of your profits come from 20% of the trades you're taking. All right, a lot of you don't actually fucking realize this because you're not tracking your data at all. And this is how we did $3 million profit with Ryan, right? He turned that 1.2 into 3 million. He turned 25 into 1.2. The reason that we were able to do that is because we figured out the 80-20. 80% of his profit was coming from only 20% of his trades. When we had enough data to analyze, we could go over that. But if you're not collecting your data, you don't know which 20% because you're not tracking it. Right? It might be Monday mornings on the S&P 500. It might be the first trade of the day, but never the last. But if you don't have the data, you're simply never going to be able to figure out what the 80-20 is for you. Right? Your data will show you the best time of the day that you're trading. And maybe that's, the London session when it's less volatile in compared to the volatility you get from New York. Maybe you figure out the worst day of the week is Friday because you always revenge trade, or you go and have a few beers at the pub with the boys and you've got a little bit of liquid courage in you, which sways your logic decision-making process. Whatever it is, you're going to collect data and you're going to find these holes in your game. You're going to see which time frame actually makes you the most money. You're going to figure out what rules actually costing you the most money. When you don't follow what part of your process, when does that result in costing you the most amount of money? All right. And the truth is, a lot of you are going to struggle with this, but losing is part of the process. And if you don't track your data, it's very easy for you to become, an operator from an emotional point of an operator from an emotional perspective, rather than accepting the system error. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, I want you to reframe your loss because losses aren't failures, they're operating expenses. And guess what? Every business has cost. Every single one of them has a cost. Trading, we don't have employees. We don't have to worry about our phone ringing all day. We don't have to worry about suppliers. We don't have to manufacture anything. We don't have to worry about shipping and handling. We don't have to worry about inventory, none of that. But trading has losses. That's our cost. And there's not many, industries where you actually go to work and lose money. You might be a fucking shit cunt and your job, you piss your boss off or you do something wrong, you flood a house, whatever it is, and he doesn't pay you for the day. But not many of you go to work and you lose $1,000 because you went to work, right? Only day traders do that. And that's why trading is the hardest job in the world. Not to taking credit away from doctors or lawyers or captains or whatever it might be, or heart surgeons, sure. Very hard jobs, but none of them go to work and lose $20,000 in a day just because they decided to go to work. But you need to reframe your loss. All right? Because losses aren't failures, they're operating expenses. And if you're not tracking your data, you're not going to know whether it's an operating error, whether it was you that broke your rules, and you need to turn those errors into lessons, or if it was just a system error. You followed your plan to a T. It was an A+ setup, but it was part of the 30% of the time that you lose. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? System errors are fine. Big Dog is fired up today. Because I see this problem time and time again where retail traders have a bad psychology with money, which means when they take a loss, they see negative P&L on the chart, And because they're seeing a negative P&L on the chart and their psychology to money is they got to pay the bills, they got to put fuel in the car, food on the table, or get that mortgage paid off, they're now not thinking logically that that's part of the 30% of their strategy that's going to lose. They're thinking emotionally, and now they're thinking it's a personal attack and I've got to get that money back. Right? That's not what professionals do, ladies and gentlemen. You can hear the passion in my voice. I'm passionate about this because I want you to win. And I need you to reframe the losses you take, reframe your psychology, and give you the tools that you need to succeed and show you what to do, when to do it, and how. Right? If it's a system error, then it's completely fine. I love system errors. I lost 30K the other day. System error, A+ setup. No problem. Slept like a baby. So what I want you all to do when you do have a system error, or maybe it's an operating error, right? You're not going to know this unless you do a post-trade audit. So every single trade that you take, especially if you're a beginner, like I'm trying to help the beginners here, right? I'm already a multimillionaire. I'm already a successful trader. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you. I want to help you, okay? Are you doing a post-trade audit? Yes or no? Put it in the fucking chat right now. Yes or no? And be honest. If you're not doing it, be honest. Okay? But if you're doing it, this is where you ask yourself, did you follow your rules? And if you did follow your rules, you know it's a system error, which allows you to move on without the emotions of feeling like it's a personal attack and you need to get that money back. Because if it's a system error, you know it's part of the 30% of the time that you're going to lose money. If you've got a 70% win rate and you win 70% of the time, that means 30% of the time you're guaranteed to fucking lose. Right? So you could take an A+ setup and it's one of the 30% of the times that you lose and it's a system error, which means you can move on and it's completely A-okay. Where you go wrong is if you have an operator error. But that doesn't mean that you have to give up and go cry yourself, to sleep. Operator errors are okay if you write down what and why it happened. If you turn that loss into a lesson so you don't prevent it again and again and again next time, that's actually a win in my eyes. When you don't do a post-trade audit, when you don't track your data, you're never going to get any of this information, right? But the goal is for you to remove the emotion and get clarity. That way we can make mistakes become data rather than shame. Rather than you being upset about taking a loss, you can be fucking happy. You can give yourself a pat on the back and you can go to sleep with your head held high because you followed your fucking process and now you protected your capital. You can come back tomorrow and tomorrow it might be a win. Making sense? Because if you're not doing this, you're not going to get results. If you do this, you will absolutely see results in your trading. All right? Now, practical steps that you can do. We've spoken about some of them. Set your loss limits inside your brokerage, right? Before the market opens, not after. No exceptions once the actual session begins, and don't go into your brokerage and change it. That's just degenerate discipline. Calculate the targets that you need to actually hit. If you have a goal, that goal only becomes a plan when you write it down. Figure out your numbers, work out what you actually need to hit day to day. And if you hit 2 times your daily profit target and you're just a beginner trying to find consistency, walk away for the day. Never let a green day turn red. Okay? Never let a green day turn red. There's nothing worse. And you guys are testament of this. There's nothing more annoying than letting your green day, you were up $1,000 and you went to bed down $1,000. True or not? How many times have we done this, chat? All right, this is the most frustrating feeling that you can actually have as a beginner when you're learning how to trade. You felt really good, you took a good trade, you made some profit, you hit more than you probably made more than your weekly wage, and then you thought, fuck, I've got a bit of risk capital. I've got a bit of money that I can play with. Even though there's not an A+ setup, I've just made 1,000. I want to make 2,000. All right, don't let a green day turn red. When you hit your profit targets, which you've got written down, you should all know them by now, stop fucking trading. Number 3, log every trade, okay? You've got all the tools that you need to succeed, right? I literally give you MMT Journal. You've got it here. You've got it for free. If you don't have it, mmtjournal.com. Okay, mmtjournal.com, you can go through, you can see a detailed analysis of the best day of the week. For example, this account, Fridays between 5 and 8 p.m. is actually when I'm making the most money. Wednesdays and Thursdays is when I'm making the least amount of money. So I would actually be better off cutting out Wednesdays and Thursdays altogether and just doubling down on Mondays and Fridays. Doing less but making more. Tracking your data allows you to see this, okay? And you literally get it for free. mmtjournal.com. Maybe this is too complicated. Maybe you don't want all this data. Maybe you don't want to sync your broker. Maybe have all this automated for you. No problem. You've also got this trade journal that's very simple. Put your fucking idea down, whether it was a 15-minute S&P breakout or whatever it is. Write down, is it an A, a B, or a C class setup? And be honest. It's a B class setup. How much are you risking of your account? If it's a B class setup, maybe you're only risking 1%. Did you win or lose? How much did you make? What was the date? And then your criteria, psychology on your notes. All right, put that, you can copy and paste your link there. Now, this is just a way for you to track your data and see your trades in a way that's systematic. It's easy to see. You've also got a calendar in here, right? So you can look at the calendar if you want. You've got a performance view. I can, if you want this, I can give you this. I want to give you whatever you're going to use. So if you get overwhelmed by all of this data and you don't want to use MMT Journal, we'll at least track your data in a very simple, easy to see and easy to use format. All right, but if you don't do it, you're not going to get results. Your data is where you're going to get the most breakthroughs. All right, and review this weekly. That's the other thing. If you collect your data but you don't actually look at it, like, what's the point? You can't figure out what's working, what's not. You want to review your data weekly, analyze it, double down on what's working, and eliminate what doesn't. It's as simple as that. All right. Now, your trading journal, your template, you should have the specific type of strategy that you're trading. Maybe you're an orb motherfucker. Maybe you're trading VWAP reversals. Maybe you only like trading breakouts with 98 fuel. Right? Maybe you're just a range trader. Whatever it is, what strategy are you using? Be specific. Was your entry criteria met? Write down your checklist on your chart, on your template. How much did you risk? What was that in relative context to the amount of money that you have in your trading account or your funded account? Right, after your trade, also document, did you actually execute your plan? Are you following your plan? Do you have a plan? If you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. Again, we give you this, all the information you need to succeed. I'll give you this for free if you don't have a basic trading plan. What's your goals to grow your account? You know, your self-talk. How are you going to talk to yourself? When are you going to trade? What's the best session for you to be trading? What's your plan of attack? What way are you trading? Are we having higher lows or lower highs? What's the trend doing? What's the PPP doing? What's the VWAP doing? Where's price in relation to the long-term moving average? Where are we trading from? A horizontal level, a fib level, diagonal level? Are we looking for a breakout bar? Is it a divergence play? Are we just looking for a close above our short-term moving average? Maybe a range trade? You know, whatever it is, you need a plan of attack. Your pre-market prep. Have you checked your major levels? We just set them on the H4 and we looked at the H1. We assessed the PPP. All right, we analyze the fuel. Make sure you're marking this off. If you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. So where's your plan? Where's your journal? Where's your data? If you're not getting results and you're not doing any of this stuff, then this is why. All right, this is why you need a basic trading plan. You need a basic journal. If you want a detailed one, no matter what it is, you've got it all here. You've got it for free. Right, and you can also document your psychology with the mindset control panel. All right, we're nearly done here, but you can see that I'm very passionate about helping you guys. And when your emotions do spike, I want you to all promise yourself that you'll have a mandatory break. Set a timer. It can be a 5-minute timer on your phone. Like, how hard is it to go like this? Open up your stopwatch. Set a timer. If you take another trade within that 5-minute timer, you have absolutely no discipline. But if you don't set the timer, you're not actually wiring your brain or giving you that trigger to psychologically walk away. So it's a mandatory thing that you've taken a loss. Great. Go and do a post-trade audit. Put the 5-minute timer on. While the 5-minute timer's on, you can be doing your post-trade audit. You can figure out whether it's a system error or an operator error. Write it down. Document exactly how you're feeling. You can use your mindset control panel. Remember, even if you're exiting the trade. Exiting the trade, criteria is met. What's your emotions? Are an 8 out of 10. How are you feeling? Put this stuff pen to paper. Get it out of your mind and get it on the actual chart or in your journal. And then ask yourself the ultimate question: am I following my plan, or am I chasing the feeling? What am I doing? Because if you can't answer that clearly, you should not trade again for the night. Close your laptop, walk away, go to bed, and come back another day. I want you to all focus on discipline over dopamine. 20 push-ups, cold showers, whatever it is. Ice baths, I don't give a fuck. Whatever it is, you need to do things that require discipline so you can train your brain to make decisions based off discipline, not to do things that get dopamine. All right? And, you know, the other side of this is some of you, like, hands up in the chat if you've had a really killer week or you've had a killer day. Maybe it's a killer month, and then you let all of that hard work go in one fucking day. Let's be honest, chat. How many times have we worked so hard for an entire month and built up thousands and thousands of dollars in profit because we've been disciplined every fucking day, every week, and then we let it all go because we have one day of bad discipline? Right? We have one bad trading day and we wipe out an entire month of discipline. There's nothing worse. Right? So the winning streak is also something that can kill accounts faster than fear, because you start to feel invincible, so you increase your position size. You start to treat the market like a casino and you abandon the logic up here, right? And then that past performance actually becomes permission to break your own rules. I've got a bit of risk capital. I've made a few extra $1,000. I can risk that back in the market. You lose it, you try and get it back because you're a revenge trader. Now you're in the hole, right? So remember, or personally, what I think you should do, I'm not telling you what to do, but what I think you should do as your mentor is, if you have three absolutely, whether it's 3 wins in a row, whether it's 3 days in a row, whether it's 3 weeks in a row, set something up for yourself where you take one day off and walk away from the charts. Because I promise you the market will humble you. Right? So rather than let it humble you, humble yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back and walk away from the charts. If you have 3 wins in a row, take a day off. They might happen all in one day. It might happen over the course of 1 week. Whatever it is, protect the capital. Right? And treat every trade as independent. It's not part of a winning streak. Your past performance is irrelevant to the next probability. Focus on one trade at a time, because I don't want you to start thinking that you've had 3 winning trades, so now you can negotiate on your rules and you start to take C- setups. Keep your standards high, right? Keep your standards high. Focus on process over profit. Rewire your brain to focus a green day on your plan and your rules. You executed your edge, and it doesn't matter what the P&L is, right? Even if you lost money, if it's a negative $1,000, but you followed your plan and took an A+ setup and respected risk, it's a win. You need to train your brain to get dopamine for that outcome. A red day is when you break your rules, you deviated from your plan, you started to trade emotionally, maybe impulsively, and even if you made money on the trade, it's still a fucking bad day, right? Because luck is not a consistent edge in the market, all right? Now let's check the charts. You can see, you can see that there's nothing happening. You can see exactly what I said, as in strength on oil meant weakness on the S&P. Now we're approaching this major level again. Nothing to trade from, no trade idea here yet, but I will keep my eye on it. Back to the masterclass. Now, your edge is in the data, guys. If you take anything away from this, just please make sure that your edge is in the data. Like 30 minutes a week, spend 30 minutes to review all your trades, your post-trade audits, eliminate what's not working, and amplify or double down on what is working. Figure out the 80-20 for you. Figure out the best day of the week, the best time of the day, the best entry and exit time frame, the best strategy, the best asset that you're trading, the average risk to reward, and also how you're actually feeling in these trades, your psychology, because that's, as we know, very, very, very fucking important. All right. And at the end of the day, only things that matter, if you know your maximum loss limit and you don't go beyond that, you track every single trade so that you can review your data and refine your edge with time. And then make sure that you got the discipline to walk away when there's no setup. Discipline over dopamine is really what it's about, right? So if you haven't already, calculate your daily target before we start. Set your loss limit up and honor it, guys. Honor it. You're only letting yourself down. So set up your maximum loss limit and honor it. Don't go in and change it. Log each trade with time and emotion. So document the technicals and document the psychology, and stop fucking revenge trading. All right, if you can do that for me, I promise you're all going to get much better results, and it's nothing but love. All I do is want to see you succeed.